Mike, hey, here we go. I set up the pricing guide here. I guess I can't change those margins, can I? But I can swear, I guess I can't do that. But anyway, there's tabs down here that you can't see, but you'll see because you'll get the program. But anyways, this is, I just set up these tax things. I kind of keep these where they're at. And if yours are different, we'll change them. But it's just figuring out what is the state tax, the federal tax, the Medicare tax, the FICA, and all that, and then your workers' comp rate per 100. Okay, and then we go to production side and basically put in 4 technicians. I pulled you out because you're the owner and you've got the business to run, and having you in front of Mrs. Jones isn't really going to be helping you grow your business. I understand that sometimes you probably run out there and do that, but I'm not counting on you to do it. Right now, from the information I saw, is we've got basically 4 service technicians full-time, and they may bounce around over the, we may go up to 6, it'd be down to 5, go up to 8, down to 5, whatever it is. So we'll always keep a look at this, and every quarter we'll kind of look at, okay, what does our pricing look like now? And I think that's just a good best practice to put that in. Also put in some information up here. HVAC, we really need to get in the HVAC side of things. And so we'll be doing service and installation, but we haven't got any manpower in that yet. So I want you to see what it looks like as of today. All right, and then so I basically put in, I don't know what you pay your guys, so I use 35 bucks an hour. That's kind of what I see out there, 35 to 45. And if we'll put in your number, but I'm just based off of 35 bucks an hour for a technician. All right, time off. So there's 2,080 hours, and so we're taking out 20 of those hours, or 20 of those days, okay, to take out of circulation. So these are, of that 2,080, we're going to take 20 days away, which is, I don't know how many that is, but it'll show us here in a minute. So 20 days out of 260 days, I'm sorry, brings us down to we've only got 240 days that's available for us to work because we've got 20 days off out of 260 days in the year. Okay? And this is basically, let me go back. Maybe I didn't explain that well. It's for vacation days. And yours may be different, but this is what I'm used to seeing. Holidays and then sick days. Then you may get other paid days off. These are all other paid days. If you got guys that want to take other time off, this is unpaid. Okay? So that's what we'll use for the unpaid guy, for that unpaid time that we generally take off as well. I might act like you guys aren't doing that right now, but they do. Okay, and so then here's your 40% efficiency, 60% inefficiency. So here's what you make on your efficient hour, and here's what you're going to charge for every inefficient hour. Okay, time off cost per hour is basically this much. So when you look at this, that's $44 when you put in the time off cost. So there's a time off that cost. Let me go back there, that PTO. Okay, we've got some PTO days, time off here. That's this time right here that we're talking about. And that's what this is, that time off cost. This is what it's costing you. So it's $41.07 burden for that $35 an hour. And then that time off cost is costing you this too. So basically your hourly cost on your efficiency is going to be $44.50. Okay, and if your efficiency is different, that's going to change. Right? And then your unbilled time. Okay, so we're saying we're 40% efficient, and we might be, we might not be. We just have to track it to find out. But we also have to fill in. I'm paying the guys 260 days a year. So of all those hours that we're paying them, I got to still pay for that unproductive time. I got to put that into my job. I got to put it in my cost. And I'm still paying those guys whether they're working or not. Okay? So this is 1.5 times, so 40%. So this should be 1.5 times what this number is, and that's pretty much what it is. Okay? So we build that cost into our price because we're going to have a year's worth of cost on labor. So we have to find out what is that unbilled time costing us. And that's what it's costing us. So basically, that's pretty much when you add those two together, that's what we get. All right. Let's go over to this. All right, so I took your overhead information and I plugged it in. And this is a formula that comes back over here from the setup tab based off of this right here. So I plugged in your overhead. That's what this came out to. And then took your cost sheets that you gave me and I just filled these in and put them in the right buckets. Okay. So this is our PTO time. Okay. We've got 20 days paid off. It's going to give you 240 days out of the year. Your efficiency is coming in at 40% efficient. Okay. So that means 60% is inefficient. But this is your 40% because we've got a total of, we're taking 1,100 hours out to work. Okay, so that's 1.5 times this right here. That makes it 40% efficient. All right, so then we can also dial it into what your true efficiency is. You don't have to, right now this is my best guess. Okay, but you'll start tracking this and we can actually back into it using these, using this field in here as well, this tab. Okay, here's where our billable hour efficiency is 40% and then 60%. So what does that mean by cost wise? Your cost per hour is $44.50 for every technician that's in a productive, or for overall, that's what it is. His burden is this, and his overtime cost, or his time off cost per hour is this. So that's going to give you this. But understand, we've got 1.5% inefficiency here. We've got 60% inefficiency. So this here is 1.5 times what this fee is right here. So we have to build that into our price. Okay, and that's how we do that here. And now here's our overhead. And I just took the numbers out of your P&Ls and plugged them in, and where I have boxes, I made some name changes for you to match it up. But pretty much have most of them in. You can see the sums that I don't are these right here. And actually, to be honest, subcontractors, and I'm assuming that's what this contract labor is. But those are generally subcontractors. That should be looked at as material cost because it's a cost of making that sale, if that's what it is. I don't know what contract laborers are. I've never had one. So I'm assuming that was a subcontractor. But anyways, that's where I put it in. But I put it in here as a cost anyway, because I'm not sure how to use it, and I didn't want your numbers to be different than what just your P&L that you gave me. So I made this as a overhead item. So it's plugged into there. All right, and then you can do some adjustments. Oh, that was this tab. This tab here. Yeah. So as you go, you got 4 tabs in there, and then you can start all over. Just show it all in here. If you want to make some adjustments, we can make some adjustments right here. These are the ones that were plugged in back over here, these blue tabs. So orange tab, we can make the adjustments going forward, and then that'll come up with our total adjustments. You've seen that I've made no adjustments. So you might want to look at each one line item and look at your future and say, okay, what kind of adjustments do you think I'm going to need for the next coming year? And put that in there. And actually, it's a good idea that you look at this by the quarter, because you may want to adjust things by the quarter. It's not everything's done by the day. All right. So then overhead allocation, I just put 100% overhead allocation in here. And I talked earlier that we're going to have a HVAC service and installation, so we'll be able to allocate some overhead into these folks and not put it all on the burden on the electrical service side. So we can take the overhead and split it up between the departments. And that departments will be based off of manpower. So you take your direct cost for every department, and that's 100%. And right now you're at 100% electrical. But we're going to get into HVAC, and we're going to have an HVAC guy Okay, so how much of that do I split that HVAC guy between service and installation? Chances are, in the beginning, if you're doing it that way, you know, 1 day a week would be an install, it'd be 20%, and I'd put the other 80% in service here, whatever percent you're going to allocate from here. So maybe you take 20%, or what? Yeah, let's say 20%, because you'd be adding a guy, because we're only counting on 4. That's be 25% for each one, and then 5 would be 20%. So you take that 20% and give, you know, 10% of it over here and 80% of it over here. Okay, so 0.1 or 0.2, you know, 0.8. Anyways, I'll work with you on that and show you how to do it. MP11, it just tells us how many hours we're tracking. So I put this up here. Just ignore this because this is coming back over here off of the production tab. Did I put that in there? How would that come in at? Oh, that's what I did. I counted it up in here. Okay, so just make them verify that. Yeah, just don't do anything about that. I put this in because of the setup tab or the production tab. Where's the setup tab? Or did I do it off of gross cost? I did it off of gross cost. That's why that's doing that in there. So I'll just take that out so it's not confusing, and then come back over here, and now you're going to see the overhead is nothing. Okay, and then, well, damn it, that shouldn't have done that either. P11 tab. Oh, did I do something on the setup? Production. Direct call. I did it somewhere. Here's where I did it. Okay, so it's reading everything. Clear that content. Now that sucker should be gone. Yep, so now it's gone. So here's what you need. You need 3.2 hours per tech or 12.8 hours per day by the department. And then per tech, you'll need 16 hours a week. That's 40% efficiency. That's 40% of 40 hours. Okay, and by the department gives you 64. And it just goes down, measures it by the day, the week, the month, and the year is all it's doing. And then it comes out here and pops out your selling price. So I'll just do away with these because I was playing with them. Okay, and so right now, based off of your historical information that you gave me for a year, now understand that was 2021. We don't have 2022, so this is probably going to change or go up some. So for right now, based off of 2021, this would be your selling price for now, and leaving you a 25% net margin. Okay. Now we'll talk about this when you have let's say a day department, an installation department. You're gonna want 35% in there because you got a 10% commission and a 25% net. Okay, so percentages are added together, and that's how that's done. Somebody's thinking on me here. I'm not sure who it is. Okay. All right, and so from there, I'll go from there, brother. All right, I just wanted you to see how this. I'll put this link in here so you can watch it again. I'll put it up here so you can watch it and understand what's going on. Okay, and always call me with questions. All right, brother.